asking people how they're doing and start asking people how they're feeling.
So I gotta make sure I'm watching the news.
I will never waste pain that's offered to me. Nothing is ever wasted.
Everybody that I gotta play the week gon' be straight. And that we tie that red that you won't hit, so you better not be late.
This is a place of development, and I'm not gonna die here. Dang.
Cause I love it, I don't care about the fame.
Yo, welcome to the Young Vagabond podcast, where we navigate the journey of life together through truth and love. I'm your co-host, Bryson.
And I'm your co-host, DJ.
And today, this is season 4, episode 4?
It is.
4 squares.
4, yeah.
4 squared.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 4 squared, that means it's a 16. I could give you 16 bars, but I ain't even going to do it round and round turn. I feel like I'm really true to this. I'm off beat, but I'm not new to this.
Okay, he didn't
done.
give 16
I'm
bars.
done.
They stopped at what? I think that was 8 or 12. But
I told y'all I wasn't going to do 16.
hey, but that was tough, bro. Hey, we are here, man. We're good, bro. We are recording here on a Friday night, late little Friday night. Last Friday night. I'm not gonna finish that, but hey, bro. Hey, we here, man. Good to see y'all, man. Good
Yes,
to hear
sir.
from y'all, man. Excited to give y'all another great episode, man. But of course, before we get started, you all know how it goes. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, man, make sure to follow or do whatever the thing button you got to hit to basically be notified every time we post, man. Of course, man, check out Cashapp or PayPal if you want to give. Shout out to all the giver-bonds and donator-bonds, man. We appreciate y'all, man. And of course, man, hit that link tree, bro. Follow that Instagram, follow that TikTok, follow the YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like, that way, if something really hits you, bro, and you want to send it to somebody else, maybe you don't want to send them the whole hour episode, bro, but you can send them a clip. You know what I'm saying? That may change their life. You know what I'm saying? Really help them out. You know what I'm saying? In the partnership with the Holy Spirit. But hey, we're here, man. We doing good, bro. Just us two today, man, after a really unhinged episode with Stuart. You know what I'm saying?
We actually got a special guest today.
Okay, who's the special guest, Bryson?
So today we have a special young man coming in from Fort Worth, Texas, man. This kid started his own political organization when he was in high school, all right? And there's a reason I bring this up, because today we're actually talking about politics. So today we have author, speaker, you know what I'm saying? We have podcaster, producer, engineer.
Yeah.
All the way from Fort Worth, Texas, here today in Starkville, Mississippi. With us, we have the one and only Darian Joseph Harding, man. Y'all give him a round of applause.
Hey, bro, happy to be here, man. Glad.
Y'all, man.
Thank you for inviting me to be on this.
I think we couldn't have had a better guest today.
Dude, appreciate that, bro.
You know
I think it is a pretty good guest too, bro. Honored, bro. Honored, man. Hey, well, he's right, bro. We are going to get into some politics, man. We got election season. In fact, when this episode dropped, it drop on Thursday, so that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 5 days before the country will learn who the next president is.
I blame the engineering department for him not being able to count. Y'all be doing all that intricate math, but they lose the basic skills of counting.
Bro, is that not 5? Is it not 5?
No, it's 5, but it took you that long to get to 5. But throw like a differential equation in front of him, he got it.
Hey, man, I don't know. I may not got it anymore. It's been a minute since I had to do differential calculus. But anyways, man, you know what I'm saying? That counting, bro. It's that doing that math stuff. It's hard, bro. But anyways, yes man, we finna 5 days before the election. And, of course, the internet and the media will have you thinking that's going to be whether America's destroyed or not. But
It's the end of the world as we know it.
We are going to talk about that, how we feel, and just, man, how to navigate this political conversation from a faith lens, from a young person lens, man, and just here, man, how do we navigate that, man? Because it can be difficult, man. Friendships end and stuff like that because of politics, man, and we want to talk about that, bro, because this is important to a lot of people, so it's important to us, you know what I'm saying? So, but hey, before we get into that, you know how it goes, Bryson.
You know how it goes.
We gotta ask
DJ's favorite question.
My favorite question.
DJ's favorite question.
Yes. What was your favorite conversation of the week. You know what I'm saying? So, Bryson, you want to go, bro?
Yeah, for sure. I know for me, man, just truly being able to take something that was given to me and impart it to some other people.
Yeah.
You know, we all know Stuart. Stuart was on here last episode.
Yes, sir.
And man, like Stuart really modeled discipleship to me and to us, I feel like. And like this year, it has really become like full circle for me, being able to pour into some freshmen.
Yeah.
And man, like this past week, I was able to meet up with 3 of the guys and really just pour into them, bro. Get them some godly wisdom. And the crazy thing is, bro, this all started from me. Like I'm walking past Montgomery Hall, looking down at my phone, and I hear a voice. Hey, bro. I was like, yo, what's up, man? He was like, how you doing? I said, I'm good, bro. I was like, how about you? He said, I'm not really good.
Oh.
I was like, oh, okay. Well, you need any prayer? And then went from there, bro.
Hey, bro.
And
That's
like
what's
now,
up.
now we locked in like this, bro. You know what I'm saying? So
That's what's up, man.
they know who they are, man. Shout out those 3 freshmen, bro.
That's what's up, bro.
All the homies I get to pour into, man. Y'all are truly blessings to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just truly an answer prayer, being able to do that. Especially since, like, I feel like an old head now on campus, bro. Folks be calling me Unc and stuff. I done heard, bro, that just be irritating me, dog. I done heard this, like, at least 3 times in the past
Unc
week.
status, bro.
And, bro, I'm only 21, bro. You what, 19? You're 19, right?
I'm 20.
You're 20?
Yeah.
See, bro, what the world?
I'm about to be Unc status with you, bro.
Next semester, they finna call you Unc. Especially when you hit your senior year. You're gonna be
absolutely,
Unc.
bro. I already feel it now, bro.
You know what's gonna be worse, though?
What's worse?
If I end up going to grad school here, bro.
Oh, yeah, you're Unc, bro.
They gonna call me Unc for
Hey,
real.
bro, old head Unc.
They gonna call me Gramps.
Hey, bro, Verge. Shout out Verge. He just turned 24, man. That's what he is now, bro. That definitely old man now, bro.
Yeah.
24, bro.
Thanks.
Hey, but he finna get married. He finna move out, man. He finna start his life for real, bro. He finna be lit.
That's crazy.
Lit. So it's gonna be cool, man. So shout out Verge. But no.
Yeah.
No, I think that's dope. And don't let him fool you. He been doing that since his sophomore year, bro. He probably was doing it his freshman year, bro. Nah, this man, you poured into me. You know, you big brother. Both you and Verge, man. Y'all discipled into me, and you know, poured into me, and were huge examples.
Appreciate it.
And like, you know, I tell y'all, this actually leads into my favorite conversation of the week.
What was your favorite conversation?
It was
DJ?
with you, actually.
Did it feel like you're talking to yourself right now?
No, but
This is how he sounds, right?
No,
Y'all
but
drop in the comments. Let me know if
don't-
DJ sound like that.
I don't sound like that.
This is how he sounds. My
I
name's
don't talk
DJ.
like that, bro.
Yeah,
No.
this is my favorite conversation. It actually,
But-
you know,
No, bro. It was with Bryson, man. We had to go shopping for our RA event or community event. We had a huge turnout for that too, man. Talking hundreds of people, bro. Y'all come thanks. Oak and Mag event, bro. You know what I'm saying? We had
it was
hey,
cool.
bro. It was cool, bro. It was definitely not 100 people there, but you know what I'm
Alright.
saying? It was at least, you know what I'm saying, 50. You feel
Hey,
me?
that's
So,
solid.
Hey, bro, for an event in our community, that's pretty
Yeah.
good, bro. Because all my come and go events, I think the highest number I had was 5 people. And I was proud of them 5. So, you know what I'm saying? 40 pretty good, but anyway.
I think the highest I ever had was like 3. Bro.
Oh, dang, bro. Hey, no, that's for real, though. They don't be showing up, bro. They be thinking they too good for our housing event. Hey, y'all if you live in a dorm, or excuse me, if you live in a residence hall,
yes.
man, here or whatever school you go to, man, go to your RA's events, man.
Yes.
They work hard on them. You know what I'm saying?
Pull up, shawty.
Come on, dog. Like, come on. But anyways, my favorite conversation of the week was, with Bryson, man. And just, I always cherish our conversations now even more than I did probably in the past, just because, you know, they're less frequent as our lives just move, you know. And, you know, it's easy in those times when you're in them to be like, oh, this will last forever, you know, especially that freshman year where it's like every day is a deep conversation and every moment's kind of that. And then, you know, you move in life, you join organizations, get involved, your major gets difficult, you know, things
real.
change, and that's part of life. That's an unavoidable, but it makes you cherish the moments that you did have and reminisce on them. It also makes you more grateful for the moments that you have now.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, just getting to have that conversation with my big brother, was awesome, and just kind of navigating through some decisions that I've been wanting to make and figure out how to go about them, and just being able to glean from the wisdom and the advice and the experience from someone who has done some of those things and is at a place where I want to be. It was a very meaningful conversation, man, and it's a lesson in just the importance of wisdom. Don't take for granted the people that you have in your life who have the experience and have applied it well, and you have applied it well.
Thank you.
Extremely well. And so, yeah, man, if you have those people in your life, man, tell them thank you, and take advantage. If they're eager and they're wanting to deposit that wisdom, soak it up. That was probably one of the things I'm most glad I did my freshman year, because coming from high school, I was kind of the Jesus guy, and so I was doing a lot of the pouring out, and I was the ambassador for my church and all these different things, and coming and being a freshman and having examples like you and Verge and Stewart, and in making that conscious decision of I'm not gonna be trying to be the man, spiritual man. I'm just going to be soaking up all that I can of knowledge and wisdom from these people who are older, that now I'm getting to deposit that knowledge into other people, but that comes from just being willing and humble enough to accept wisdom. And so, man, that's really important. But anyways, yeah. So that was my favorite conversation of the week, man. But anyways,
You mind if I say something real quick?
oh, go ahead, man.
Yeah. One, thank you, bro.
Hey,
It
bro,
really means a lot coming from you, because bro, I was thinking to myself earlier, I was like, bro, if anybody's a leader's leader, it's DJ.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Your leader's favorite leader is this guy right here. You feel me? I mean that for real. But man, the verbiage that you put to it is I had people that I could come and finally get poured into, instead of me trying to be the spiritual man.
yeah.
I wish I had something like that my freshman year, bro, because I came in prideful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In terms of I wanted to be that spiritual.
Yeah.
guy. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be known as the big Christian Bible. I know everything, but thank God that I had other people who were on my team in terms of other people who are out here pushing for the Lord. Because if I was the only one, bro, that's detrimental to the kingdom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because one man can change the world for sure, but life ain't meant to be done alone.
No,
You know
man.
what I'm saying? And it's that ain't good for man to just try to put yourself on a pedestal. So.
No, we're not meant to do it alone. And like you said, one man can change the world, but no one can save it alone. Except for Jesus, you know. And Jesus has already done the saving. And so I'm going to listen to the guy who did save the world. And that guy says to be in community. And the community is important. And we talked about this episode 5, season 1 of the pod when we talked about community. And we talked about that, you can grow linearly by yourself, but you grow exponentially in community, because it takes you a while to be humble enough to see your weak points, to even just notice your weak points, right? Because you're focused on your strengths and growing those things. But the people who are not you, who are seeing on the outside of you, they are able to speak to things that you may be missing, and from that you are able to grow a lot faster, right? Because they're able to help you address, right, and to give you wisdom and advice of how to address the things that you may be weak in, and they're just there to see, show you those things, and so. Once again, it's just community is important. Wise counsel is important. It helps you. It saves you from a lot of uncomfortable experiences.
That is so real.
You've said that many times before. Life gives you enough character development on its own. You do not need to add to it unnecessarily. No unnecessary character development is needed, and the way that you avoid that is by surrounding yourself with wise community. And if you want to get somewhere someday, right? If it's academically, if it's career-wise, spiritually, physically, whatever, you should hang around people who are already there. You know what I'm saying? If there's some place that you want to be at, you don't hang around with people who are farther away from that place. You hang out with people who are closer to it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's one of the most practical ways to grow is just being around people who are where you want to be, right? And if that's, you want to be married, spending time around people who are in healthy, good relationships. Don't be hanging around. I mean, hey, but that might be your homie. That might be your bro. But, like, if he out here every night having these really surface level relationships with, different girls, man, and that's not, I mean, if that's what you want, that's what you want. But if that's not what you want, then you got to re-examine and say, okay, am I putting time into spending time with people who are where I am? Because he can't, your homie who's having all these surface relationships, he can't give you advice about how to have a long-lasting relationship, right? And if you listen to his advice, you're going to fumble the bag, right? He's going to tell you things that work for him, but what work for him is not going to work for where you want to be. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, that's why wise counsel is so powerful. That's why wise counsel is so important. And it keeps you humble, you know what I'm saying? Because being a freshman and, there definitely was a temptation to come in there and be like, okay, certain people I was around, I was like, yeah, I am more, quote unquote, spiritually mature than you, right? But because I was I'm gonna be around these folks, right? I'm gonna be quiet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was humble, like, man, I don't know this, man. I can't quote scripture the way that they quote this scripture. And it wasn't about even just comparing as much as it was about just like, man, that gives me a new perspective of where I can be, right? You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna move towards that. And I'm gonna move, have grace for myself and know that like there's a process to get there, but now I have an example of where I can get to, you know what I'm saying? And that keeps you humble. Because when you think you're there, that's when the pride starts, you know what I'm saying? Because you think, oh, I ain't got anywhere else to go. I made it, right? But the truth is we never make it. And so if you spend time around enough people who are wise and who do have wise counsel, they'll tell you, man, shoot, you never gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's part of it, right? But that's learned humility, and that's learned from being around wise counsel. So, yeah, completely off topic from what we were supposed to be talking about today, but wisdom nonetheless.
I think it actually ties in.
Okay.
Because do you think that a lot of political problems within the church stems from I think I'm there already, so I don't have to listen to you?
Ooh. Oh, he hit the head on the nail. Man, that's good, Bryson. No, that's real, bro. Like that's real. I mean, and just thinking that like I know I'm right. Yeah. So the other side must be wrong. Man, and then we take it even a step further and we say, oh, the other side must be evil, right? That they're doing it out of evil intent, right? It's no longer, oh, you disagree with me because of your different experiences or your understanding or your worldview that arrives you to this different conclusion. It's no, you disagree with me because you're evil. Yeah. That's a really destructive place to be at because when you think something's evil, harming it, violence, doing things wrong to it, right? That becomes a means to a greater end, right? It's no longer, oh, this is a person who happens to be a Republican or this is a person who happens to be a Democrat. This is a evil human being who supports an evil agenda. And I must do what I have to destroy the evil, right? And then you don't see this person all of a sudden as a person. You see them as evil that you must vanquish, that you must destroy. And that's dangerous, man, right? Because we're not like, we are all children of God. We're, no matter what you think, if you're a Christian, you're not a Christian, right? You are still a creation and an image bearer of God and should be treated as such, right? If you're a believer, that's what you think, right? But we have a lot of believers, unfortunately, operating in this idea of like, oh, if it's evil, it must be destroyed, even if that quote unquote evil is this other person, right? And that quickly turns into hate. That quickly turns into violence, and maybe not even physical violence, but just violence with your words.
Yeah,
The way that
verbal,
you talk
emotional.
about other people, you know, the way that you treat other people, the way the things you think about other people. You know what I'm saying? Like God still sees that.
Real.
Right? And that's the devaluation of his creation.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something?
I really just got another question for you.
What's up?
So it's like, do you think we assign people's character to who they vote for?
I think absolutely. I mean, I think once again, people make these wild character assumptions, you know, about people based off of what they, you know, their political. I think about even today. I get the pleasure and absolute honor and blessing of running Cafe Theology, which
Yes,
is kind
sir.
of this little theology club.
It's
that's
not
under-
little. You've been killing it, bro. I told you today, bro.
Hey, man, to God be the
fruits
glory.
of the labor, man. It's growing.
bro.
It's doing
It
great.
is, man.
I hope y'all know that. Like,
But it is, man.
yeah,
and
shout out
it's-
Cafe Theology,
it's
bro. I
been-
love it. You've created a great movement, bro. A great atmosphere. So
Thank you.
yeah, I love
Thank
it.
you, man.
I love it.
I appreciate that, man. It's
course.
been an absolute pleasure to be able to steward that and work with Pastor Brandon. And Pastor Brandon, I mean, that's big OG right there, man.
Facts.
That dude, I mean, he makes that job of stewarding that much easier. And so, but anyways, we were talking about politics today, and you know, just with the issue of abortion, right, is a very, you know, hot button issue. And, you know, of course, I believe that the Bible is very clear about the sanctity of life, even unborn life.
Yeah.
However, I am very, very quick to also have compassion for those who may have felt like there was no other choice and made that decision, right? And I think, you know, sometimes those who are on, you know, the quote unquote pro-life, you know, sector, lack sometimes that compassion, right? Or are missing that component of what is a biblical worldview, right? But it comes with that compassion that these aren't women who just are having one night stands and just don't want to deal with the inconvenience of having a baby, right? It's these women who are legitimately struggling with this decision, right? Because they feel that they don't have the money to take care of this you know, baby, or the, you know, the boy who, you know, got them pregnant has left, you know what I'm saying? And he's not being a man. And so now that, you know, his sin has caused, you know, a greater level of, you know, hurt and just trying to navigate that, or just the issues of if your life is on the line between you and this baby, or you were sexually assaulted. I mean, these are some real issues, right? And issues that require compassion, right?
Yeah.
Yes, the sanctity of life is clear, right, in the Bible, but we have to be compassionate in the way that we view the other side, and to even see that someone who's, you know, a brother who may, or a sister who may be pro-choice or may feel that way, is not because they're evil, right? It's because they have compassion. They see this situation, right? Or they may not, you know, they may not be a believer, right? And so they don't have the same understanding of the sanctity of life, and so they think they're doing the right thing. Most people think they're doing the right thing, right?
Yeah.
And when we come from that perspective, even if we feel that what they believe is wrong, right, or the positions that they're standing for are wrong, we can still come from the fact that of like, oh, if I had your perspective, I would act the same way, right? And so then the conversation stops becoming about, you know, this is right and this is wrong and this is the blah, blah, blah. It becomes like, how do we get to a perspective that like will be at the same understanding? Because if you don't have the same perspective, you're never going to arrive at the same understanding, right? And the way that you change hearts, the way that you change perspective is through Jesus. It's not through me. I can throw all the facts at you that I want.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if your heart feels this way, right, because of your perspective or your worldview, no fact I can throw at you, no example I could give you could ever change that mind, right? That comes, or not change that mind, change that heart. That heart change comes from Jesus, right? And so I'm about to get off my soapbox, but like, I mean, if I feel like if we as believers spent more time, or just as much time, trying to champion why Jesus is the way, why Jesus is worth it, as we do our political party, we would see a lot of the issues politically, socially, economically solved because more people would have a heart for Jesus, right? If we focus less on trying to amass this certain level of political power to mandate Christian laws, right? That even though I have to follow, I don't in my heart feel like following, so I'm always going to have resistance to. If we spent less time doing that and more time just communicating the message of Jesus and showing the love of Jesus, we would see the positions that we want to see, right, in politics and in culture. We would see those as a byproduct, right, of our primary mission to the church, our primary mission to the gospel. But as long as our priorities are out of whack, right, culture's not gonna. The culture's always gonna, because politics is a culture. Politics is a world game, right? That's the world, right? It's the world's means of achieving some sort of social change or mandating some sort of social standard, right? So if you're playing by the world's game and by the world's rules, you are going to lose, right? Because the world is beating you at its own game. You can't beat the world at its own game, right? But what you can do is bring Jesus, because Jesus beats all. You know what I'm saying? And if that becomes the focus, right, that change that we want to see, that becomes the byproduct. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox. But
no, I definitely agree with you, bro. Because I believe you sow bad seeds, you reap bad fruit. You sow good seeds, you reap good fruit, right? So if I sow seeds of love within conversation, I'm gonna more than likely reap seeds of love from the person I'm talking to, right? But if I sow seeds of hate and division within a person in a conversation, then I'm more than likely gonna reap those seeds. I think we have to never forsake the art of humble curiosity. You know, because if I get to this point where it's either my way or the highway, then I've already lost the person within the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, bro, if I'm keeping it a buck, you've heard me talk about it before. Like 2020, like the church really angered me. Because how can we call ourselves followers of Jesus when we allowed a man-made thing, politics, divide us? You know what I'm saying? When at the core, we're supposed to all be Jesus followers. And, you know, in the scriptures, like Jesus himself said, if he's not against you, then he's for you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, where did we get it wrong? Where did we get to the point where it's like, I forsake my brother just because of politics? Because at that point, and I could be wrong, this is probably like a super hot take, but at that point, I feel like we've taken God off of the throne and we've put politics on the throne.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, you're a Democrat and you're a Christian? Nah, you can't be a Christian. You're just a Democrat. Oh, you're a Republican and a Christian? You can't be a Christian. You're just a Republican. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, when did we put politics in the place of God? And I'm not saying, like, politics are just this bad thing. I think Christians should engage in, you know, many facets of the world because, like, you know, who's going to be the light in those places, right? But, like, if we allow these things to become God, then we've messed up. You know what I'm saying?
No, and I just think even seeing it as the way in which we achieve the church's mission. Politics is not the way that we achieve the church's mission. It's the church, right? And so if you think Donald Trump is going to be how we save America and make it more Christian again, then you're missing the point. If you think Kamala Harris is going to be the way that we have Christian compassion or we see Christian values return, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Neither of them, neither party is going to get you that, right? Because the way that the church achieves the church's mission is through the church, right? And that has to be the primary priority for every Christian. Like you said, absolutely participate in politics, vote, and participate in these things that are, you know, quote unquote secular spaces, right? Because as Christians, we are called to be in the world, but we're not called to be of it, right? And I think that's what the thing is a lot of us have started because I'm of this political leaning, right? I'm of this political party, right? You know, I like that becomes, like you said, their God, right? Not even just because it's something that they're emotionally invested in. It's because they think it's the way that we save the world. It's the way that we save our nation. It's the way that we protect, you know, all these things. And it's like, yes, is it an avenue towards accomplishing the kingdom mission? Absolutely, right? And that's why we should fight for causes, right, that are biblical, right? And both sides have fights for causes that are biblical when it comes to equity and inclusion, when it comes to, protecting life, right? Whatever issue it may be, both sides have biblical values, right? But they're not biblical entities, right? And so if we think that a non-biblical entity is going to accomplish a biblical standard, we're setting ourselves up for failure, right? And more in that they want to keep you not even focused on maintaining the biblical standard, but being so afraid that the other side is going to mandate an anti-biblical standard that you're not even focused on some of the policies that they have. They like, if you actually looked at, you'd be like, whoa, that's not biblical. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've been reading the book Dangerous Jesus by KB, and that man spitting. He said, when our right to love Jesus is dependent on the government keeping it safe, we are not worshiping Jesus, we are worshiping our safety. When our right to love Jesus is dependent on the government keeping it safe, we are not worshiping Jesus, we are worshiping our safety. When did the president determine whether or not I was going to follow Jesus? I thought that was the pulpit. I thought that was my personal relationship with God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When did the president ever do that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know, like, of course you see in the Bible where there's numerous times where the Lord tells the kings of Israel to keep his statutes and walk in his ordinances, right? But at the end of the day, it's their choice. You feel me? And, of course, we're called to pray for our leaders. We're called to intercede for our countries and nations. But at the end of the day, like, whether it's Trump or Kamala, it's their choice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But as for me and my house,
Right.
we're going to serve the Lord.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, don't get so caught up in what's happening on at the White House that you mistake what's going on in your own house. You know what I'm saying? Like, just keeping it a buck, bro.
Yeah.
And, like, not even just, like, your own house, but your neighbor's house.
Right.
Because the scriptures tells us to love our neighbors as ourselves,
Yeah.
bro. You know, I was reading Luke 10 this morning and reading the parable of the Good Samaritan.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's so many layers to that story. But ultimately, like, the man who ended up helping the Jew that got beat up and left for dead on the road was a Samaritan. And at the time, the Samaritans were looked at as the outcasts. The Jews didn't rock with the Samaritans.
Yeah.
But the Samaritan said, I'm going to spend every single dime that I have to make sure this Jew is okay.
Yeah.
You know, when did we lose the art of that?
Right.
And why can't we have that mindset now to where it's like, hey, we may have different views, but at the end of the day, at the core of it all, you're still my brother in Christ.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the brother in Christ, the Christian like familyhood should trump, not pun intended, but should trump all of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, just keeping it a buck, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I understand politics is important, but it's not the end all be all.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No, it reminds me of what I was reading today, which was in 1 Timothy chapter 3. And, you know, Paul's kind of giving Timothy instructions on, like, who should their bishops be, and, you know, pastors, you know, bishop, whatever terminology you may use. But, I mean, he says that same thing as he must manage, this is verse 4 and 5, he must manage his own household well with all dignity, keeping his children submissive. For if someone does not know how to manage his own household, how will he care for God's church? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can we accomplish God's mission if we're so focused on somebody else's, right? Trump and Kamala Harris, that's not your fight. That's like, yes, you can passively go, you know, vote for whoever you think you need to vote for. If you passive, you feel very passionate about, like, passively supporting them, go do that, right? That should not be you should not be going harder in the paint for that than you should be for the church, right? So if you're going super hard in the paint for that, you need to go harder than hard, right? For like the kingdom, right? Because that's your fight, right? You know what I'm saying? And I even, like, you know, of course the people probably are screaming and going like, but, you know, what about, you know, the other side is evil, right? The other side is, you know, we have to fight for truth, right? We have to fight, and yes, We have to fight for truth.
Yes.
I believe that 100%, right? But I mean, I just think about like, okay, how did Jesus fight for truth, right? Was he cussing people out on Twitter? Was he, on his TV screen yelling about how this group of people is going to destroy the country? Was he, saying this group of people are so hateful and they're so evil? Was he doing that? No. How was he fighting for truth? Conversations,
Facts.
right? Loving other people, right? You want to fight for truth? Go do that.
Yeah.
Go love your neighbor who's on the other political spectrum of you.
Yes.
Go serve them. You know what I'm saying? Go be with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, love them. Have a conversation. Have a healthy conversation, right? I feel like we have gotten so far from that where it is just screaming matches, right? Like, I just look, like, I sometimes, like, old debates, like presidential debates will come up, and I look at them. I'd be like, man, let's get these guys back. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like the decorum and the peace that we, like, that was just, and like, they disagreed, right? But there was decorum there. And there's a level of that people are now so afraid to talk about politics because it's like, oh, it's going to turn into a screaming match. So let me just stay on my side, right? And then they're just screaming out of passion with each other, going like, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you too. This side's terrible. This side's bad. And we've gotten so far away of, hey, why do you think that? What motivates you to, why do you believe that, right? And when you don't have those conversations and you enter this echo chamber, right, where everybody agrees with you, right? And because everybody agrees with you, you start to think that the other side's opinion is just absurd.
Yeah.
Right? And so the only reason they have this absurd opinion is because they must be evil, right? And it's like, no. If you believe in truth and you believe that what the truth that in the way that you understand it is the correct, go have conversations with those people who don't hold that opinion.
Facts.
Go love those people who don't think the same way as you, right?
Yeah.
Because that is vastly more effective. And we see it just by observing the example of Jesus, that is vastly more effective than screaming, than yelling, than calling this person a bigot or calling this person, a pervert. They're trying to, pervert our children, whatever, dogmatic thing that, CNN or Fox News is telling you, right? It's have these conversations with these people, right? In love and in peace and in kindness, and see where they're coming from. Because 9 times out of 10, they believe they're right because of their perspective. And when you understand their perspective, you go, you know what? If I thought that way, I would feel that exact same way.
Yeah. Facts. I think we got to get away from point talking at point to person talking with person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, bro, I really want to hear your perspective on this.
Yeah.
So I follow this Christian rapper on Instagram named John Keith.
Shout out John.
Yeah, John Keith. Love John Keith. He's tough. And he posted something on Instagram the other day, and I just want to get your perspective. And it says, how to know if you're a Christian trapped in culture wars. We carry a God is with us, but not with them impulse. We no longer see image bearers to be engaged, but threats to be eliminated. Yeah. We believe that we are fighting for truth, so our hatred is justified. We believe political power is necessary to make the most of the gospel, and fear is the primary lens through which we see the world. What you think?
John Keith hit, hey, bro. That man hit on that's it. That's it right there. Almost like I don't need to say that. Yes, if you think
Episode 2. Second episode in a row that Mike.
if you think, we said it before, if you think political power is the way in which the church achieves its mission, you have it wrong. Fact. Right? If you think that your hatred is okay because, thank you. Yeah. If you think that your hatred is okay because it is a means to an end, right, of achieving some greater good, then you have it wrong. You know what I'm saying? If you think God is with us but not with them, that is wrong, right? Because God is a God of everybody. He sends the rain on the just and the unjust, right? So the people you think don't deserve it, God still loves them enough to send blessing, to love them, to provide for them.
Yeah.
That's what God's doing. And you serve God. You don't serve political president A or political candidate B, right? You serve God, right? So if that's what God is doing, then what should you be doing? You know what I'm saying? And so if you have this mentality of God's with the Republicans, he's not with the Democrats, or God's with the Democrats, he's not with the Republicans, right? You are missing the point because God is for all of us. He loves all of us, right? And yes, because we understand the gospel, right? We are adopted into his family, right? And so there's a different relationship there, but it's not like, oh, these people are undeserving of grace. They're undeserving of having conversation with, being treated civilly. I mean, I love this second point. We no longer see them as image bearers to be engaged, but threats to be eliminated. I mean, that's the world we live in, right? That like the unsaved or the people who are saved and just don't think the same way that I think, they're not people to be engaged with. They are threats to the kingdom of God, right? Yeah. Who we like, seriously, bro? Like, you think God need your help to eliminate threats? You think God needs you to eliminate threats? Like, he can't handle it, right?
For real.
Like, and it's like the only threat that ends up being is you, right? Because now you're threatening the purity of the message, the gospel message, right? Yeah. That it's a gospel for everyone, right? And that the message of grace is there, but you're not seeing it as a message of grace because, oh, you don't get it. You don't have the truth, right? I have to, scream at you. I have to yell at you. I have to eliminate your opinion because it's a threat. That's a fear-based mindset, right? You're operating out of fear, right? And we know that perfect love casts out fear, right? And that the gospel is a gospel of love, right? So if these things can't coexist, so if they are coexisting, that means that there's something wrong here, right? And there's something wrong with your approach with their worldview, right? I'm in graph theory, hate it actually, but we do proofs, right, in graph theory. And it's a math, it's like a theory class. We do mathematical proofs, and one of the avenues in which we do proofs is called a proof of by contradiction, right? And it's when we assume that the opposite of something is true, right? And from there we make some other assertions that have to be true if the opposite of this is true. And what you end up doing is arriving at an absurd conclusion, right? And so if we apply this to politics, right, if these are people to be threats to be eliminated, people to be feared, right, why should we fear them? We fear them because we feel that if they take charge, we have no power over them, right? Okay, so we think we have no power over them, right? But we know that every knee will bow and every tongue will confess at the name of Jesus, right? And we know that Jesus is God is all powerful. So, okay, these things don't align with each other. These things, so this conclusion is absurd, right? So we have to reject this and assume that the opposite of true is true, and that is if no matter who is in power, God is still in control, right? And our mission doesn't change, right? Which is to be the hands and feet of Jesus.
Thanks.
So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Nah, you spitting, bro. You really spitting. Like I told you before this episode started. I said I knew you were gonna pop off. Didn't I tell you that?
You did, bro.
I knew
you
it.
did say that.
I knew it, bro. Because I feel like we overcomplicate it, bro.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Of course, there may be certain things that like biblically like we just don't agree with, and that's okay. Like stand for that, right?
Right.
But like at the end of the day, bro, like you're talking to people, not points. You're talking to people. You know what I'm saying? And like, bro, at the end of the day, like Jesus said it himself, all the law and the prophets, hang on, love the Lord your God with all your soul, heart, and mind.
Yeah.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Right.
If the things that you're doing or saying is not cultivating those two, then what we doing?
Right. We are missing, we say this Gen Z, we've lost the plot. we're missing.
I'm so tapped out. I don't even know what that means.
We are missing the point. A unk status.
I am unk status. I'm not helping my case. Son.
You should have just been like, yeah.
Yeah,
I've lost the plot. No, I mean that's I mean that like
What
we
the
have
stigma?
we have
Gained some points back.
you got with the new generation, the Gen Alphas, man. But anyway, skippity toilet. But like you said, man, like the two greatest commandments that we have is love your God, with all your heart and all your, soul, all your mind, all your body, and to love others as yourself, right? And so if at any point you have to compromise that to support, and you compromise that in your support of a political party, then you are putting that political party, that political candidate, over your primary commitment. And like you said, it is simple because we can be comfortable in the fact that no matter who is in charge, our mission doesn't change. Right? The early Christians were under a government that was considerably more hostile than whoever is the most extreme, probably, political candidate on our two parties that you could put in power.
Yeah.
Right? It was so hostile that they were throwing them in jail and murdering them. Right? And then you look into the emperor like Nero and some of the other later emperors who are literally killing them for sport. We're throwing them into, the Colosseum and these other kind of arenas, right? And releasing lions for the sport of it. So for other people to watch, right? That is terrifying, right? That like Christians are preaching the gospel knowing that could be them, right? And we aren't, right? It irks me when people talk about we're so persecuted because somebody made fun of Christianity on a TV show or in a movie. People disagreeing with you is not persecution. You want to know persecution? Go over to like the Armenians or the Kurdish who are Christians and they're living under governments that are extreme. Go over to the Chinese underground church and what they're dealing with. That's persecution. You're not being persecuted because somebody said something mean on Twitter or on Instagram. That's not persecution, right? But even if it was, even if we were dealing with that level of persecution, our mission still doesn't change. Yeah. Because that mission isn't dependent on who's in power, if we're powerless, because we know that all of the authority and the power ultimately belongs to God. And so we can be comfortable in that, right? And it's a simple mission of knowing that no matter what, our mission does not change. And once again, that doesn't mean forsake politics or don't participate, but it does put it back into perspective as, okay, this is an avenue, right? Of course, I would prefer it goes a certain way over another way, but at the end of the day, my mission does not change, right? Yeah. Because if my mission to the church is the primary focus, then a natural byproduct becomes those things that I want to see politically, those things I want to see culturally. Those things happen as a byproduct of me just loving people and showing them Jesus. Thanks. Because when Jesus changes those hearts, the cultural shift happens, the political shift happens. Yep. It doesn't happen through mandating it, right? Through amassing political power. Yeah. It comes through Jesus. Thanks. And only Jesus.
And go out and make disciples of the kingdom, not disciples of a party.
Amen. Like, for real. Well, shoot, man. Bryson got a movie to go watch, y'all. So we finna wrap this up.
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
Like, just hearing you talk, bro, it kind of reminded me of the Boise State running back right now. So he's like a real good running back, like up for Heisman and stuff. And he said, I am a Christian disguised as a great running back, basically. Yeah. And, I feel like sometimes it's very easy to put I'm a blank disguised as a Christian. Like whatever the case may be, Republican, Democrat, whatever party or place that you fall in, right?
Right.
I think we need to make sure we keep that Christian first,
Yeah.
and whatever else, keep that second,
Right.
third, whatever the case may be. Like once we allow the party or whatever organizational affiliation to be above the Christian, once we introduce that first, then we've already missed the mark.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I want to challenge us all to be a Democrat. Be a Christian disguised as a Democrat. Gosh, be a Republican. No, be a Christian disguised as a Republican. You know,
Right.
wherever you find yourself at, be a Christian first, and then go do the other things. Second,
Right.
You know.
Absolutely. No, Dr. Tony Evans, he would say that when he would kind of address this issue that like Christian should be the adjective, right? You know, what are some of the nouns? You know, I'm black. I'm a black man, right? I'm an engineer, right? I go to Mississippi State University. I'm a Bulldog. Right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm an Ole Miss hater, right? But before the adjective is what describes the noun. Right?
Yeah.
It gives more context to what the noun is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before I am an engineer, a black man, whatever, right? I'm a Christian, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Christian black man. I'm a Christian, engineer. I'm a Christian Ole Miss hater, right? So I'm not finna cuss an Ole Miss person out because I love Jesus. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna make some jokes, but like it's that where like our focus is first on the Christian, right? Because like I want people to hear like we're not saying, I don't think Bryson's saying it. No, I'm not saying don't be involved. If you feel passionate about somebody and you think they are a better fit, right? Voicing that, right? Privately, publicly, do that, right? Just make sure you're not doing that more or harder or more often than you're doing that for Jesus.
Facts.
And I mean, like, if you don't hear anything else that we've said today, it is that, right? We're not going to tell you who's, to vote for, right? What's the better political candidate, right? Because, who knows? You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
But what I do know is that the church is the avenue in which Jesus has called us to solicit the change for us to be closer to him, right? And for culture to change to be, more reflective of him, right? And so that is where my primary focus goes to. And like I said before, if that is the primary focus, those other things that we want to see happen become a natural byproduct. Matthew 6:33, but seek first the kingdom of righteousness and all these things will be added onto you, right? We always apply that to a personal context, you know what I'm saying? But it's true about, if you want to see your school change for, the better to reflect Jesus, if you want to see your country, your family, whatever those things are, it comes through that prayer and it comes through seeking first the kingdom of righteousness and being that example, right? Because God will honor that. You know what I'm saying? And so if we make that our primary focus, we will see that impact happen, right? It may not be in a way that we think it should happen, right? It may not come through this political party winning, right? But it will happen, right? Because our focus and our dependence is not on this political party winning for us to see the church advance. Yeah. It's through our obedience, right, and commitment to the church that the church advances. So that's pretty much it for me. You got anything else to add?
I mean, just the only thing that kept replaying in my mind is the Christian rapper KB. Yeah. He said in the song "I Am Not the One," he says, "They calling me a Christian rapper, but I just want to be more Christian than rapper." You know what I'm saying? So like they call me a politician, but I just want to be more Christian than politician. They call me a chef. I just want to be more Christian than a chef. You know, so it's like, bro, wherever you find yourself at, just make sure that Christian is first and then whatever else is second. Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, we're all people. Yeah. And a policy may be a policy, but like the person behind the policy is still a person at the end of the day. Yeah. So like treat them as they should be treated. Right. That's just my mindset. Absolutely. I could be wrong, whatever the case may be, man. Hey, you could, bro. That's just how I feel about it, dog. We are just two guys with a microphone, So, hey, man, and
hey, I would say like if you don't like, let us know how you feel in the comments, but it can be dangerous. But like I encourage you, man. You like if you take to heart what I if anything, is to just talk to other people, right? Nice. That you don't agree with.
Humble curiosity.
Right? I'm very protective about the fact that like just because we on here don't mean you have access to my life. You know what I'm saying? And, like we finna be besties. If we don't have a personal relationship, but you do have somebody in your life who you probably don't agree with, right? Mm-hmm. Politically, whatever, right? Be curious, like you said. Be humbly curious about why they think the way that they think. Yep. Have that conversation, and you may realize that you come out of it going, wow, like, hey, my opinion, I may even feel stronger about how I feel, but I understand why they think the way that they think, right? And the next time I have a conversation with somebody, or the next time I'm trying to campaign or, publicly support this policy, I have an understanding of why somebody thinks a different way, and I can come out of it with more compassion, and I can come at them the next time I have a conversation with someone I disagree with more compassion, right? And I think you do that. Like, I mean, that's a legitimate challenge to people. Like, you do that, like you will realize, like, man, hey, the reason that you think this way is an understandable way why you would think that, right? And it's understandable how you derive to that conclusion. And I recognize that you're still human in that. But anyways, man, that was a pretty good episode.
If I do faithful myself.
We gonna wrap it up here, man. But as always, man, appreciate y'all rocking with us, man. So thankful. We just hit 800 followers on Instagram, 300 followers or 300 subscribers on YouTube, and every time I just go like, wow. Like I just, when we started in McCool, with the beaming ring light into the whiteboard, I never imagined like this is where it would be at, and
staring off in space while we talking.
And all the you know what I'm saying in the fresco, all of that, man. It's a beautiful journey, and just to look back and go like, wow, there are 800 people who saw something and said, yeah, I want to pay attention to what these people got going on, and we all glory to the Lord, of course. But it's it's also because of y'all support that we're here, and so thank y'all for that. We appreciate y'all, and hope to continue to give y'all some more game, man. And excited, got a couple more guests coming up.
Yes, sir.
And have a couple more fun conversations, man. And anyways, so y'all subscribe, y'all follow the YouTube, do all those things. But of course, have a great day. And go vote if you're able to, man, because it's important to exercise that right and continue to participate. And Bryson gonna show off his shoes. What kind of shoes are they?
The shoes have red and blue on them, and they flow in harmony, just how both parties can exist and flow harmoniously,
like harmoniously.
Harmonic, tapatu, flupatu pop. These are some Greek freaks, but yeah, man, I just wanted to
shout out Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. He would be proud of you.
Hey, bro, I know it, bro. I appreciate it. Speaking of basketball, man, season just started, bro. I think the Spurs lost. That's my team. They lost, but I mean, we lost to the people who made it to the championship, the Western Conference Finals champions. But Wemby, man, he finna take us places, man. So
in about 5 years for sure,
dude. Nah, he contributing with CP3, bro. That development gonna come in so fast.
In about 5 years for sure.
Okay, Bryson, we'll see, bro. We're making it to the playoffs.
I give it about 3.
No, bro, we're making the. Nah, you're right. We're not finna win the finals or anything like that. Like it's gonna be. We got some time before we do that, but we're gonna definitely I'm definitely excited because we've sucked for a few years, so it's been rough being a Spurs fan. But we
almost let the intrusive thoughts win.
What you got to say?
Nothing.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways, hey Bryson, what do we?
I'm probably gonna get canceled.
What do we say to end off this episode?
Y'all be blessed. Don't stress. Do less and let God take care of the rest. We out, man. We love y'all.
Love you, man.
Yeah, I need a bag. to D-set. I make a banger, they got it on replay. Why they talking about he say, she say? Probably gon' slide in there, yeah, on the freeway. I make a bag and I blow it, no cheesecake. Then I gon' sell everything up on